Welcome, guys, to our For Agents by Agents Realtors podcast. If you're a real estate agent and you're working with buyers or sellers in this market, this podcast is for you. My name is Kelvin Verrett, broker, coach, and speaker, with my good friend Amir here. Amir, why don't you introduce yourself while we get ready to dive into this topic of what's going on in the real estate market today and what you should be aware of if you're a licensed agent in the state of California or actually in the nation. Amir, introduce yourself.
Hi, Kelvin. Great to be with you today. This is going to be a great podcast. My name is Amir Elahi. I am a real estate associate with eXp Realty, and I have been in the business now. I just realized I celebrated my 20th year with a real estate license. So I'm excited to be here and talk about what's going on in the market and how we can help agents really exceed and excel in this market.
Great. Amir, I got you on the hot seat today. There is a topic that is just burning the ears of the average agent. And I want to just pick your brain a little bit today and get your insight on what it really looks like in the area for us agents working with buyers and sellers. Now, the market is a very strange market. We're in the middle of a pandemic, or on the tail end of a pandemic, but the country is getting more confidence now in what's going on in the real estate industry. Now, with the housing market being as tight as it is right now, we have some strange things going on. Housing prices are being inflated above value. Buyers are getting desperate to buy, and agents seem to be caught right in the middle of what's going on because we are finding that it's harder to work with the buyers because we can't find them a home. It's harder to get listings because the sellers are afraid to have people in their home. So if you had any advice for an agent today, Amir, what would you tell the average agent that is struggling today in the area of real estate?
Well, let's talk a little bit about the market. That's a great question because the market is probably in some unprecedented territory. Seems like you and I have been in this industry for 100 years, but literally when I got started in the market full time, it was at the tail end of another major market shift. And so we kind of you helped me walk through that market. And so the good news today for agents is that, everything changes and everything changes for the better. And the more prepared you are as an agent, then the more successful you're going to be. And that's really where this podcast and certainly my day-to-day interactions with coaching agents is actually going to help. But this market is absolutely incredible. And for agents to actually be able to separate themselves, they really have to, number one, know their craft. That's separating agents right now, is knowing your craft inside and out and becoming an expert in your market.
So I heard something you said there, being prepared. So therefore, training is essential for the agent in the market today. And we know the statistic is that the average agent only sells 1 or 2 homes a year. And the percentage of homes that's being sold by only 5% of the top producing agents selling 95% of the real estate. And the average agent lifespan as an agent will be about 18 months to 2 years before they quit to say real estate doesn't work. Now, being a veteran myself that's been in the business for over 21 years, I'm here to say that real estate does work. And there is a way to make a great living, but the key to it, my friend Amir just said, is training. Training. And I would say to the average agent, do you have a coach? And if your answer is no, then I would suggest that you get a coach. The most famous people in the world today have coaches. The presidents have coaches. Actors have coaches. Football players have coaches. Basketball players have coaches. Every major profession has coaches. Now, Amir, I'm going to throw this back to you. Do you have a coach?
I absolutely do. In fact, I have 2, maybe 3 coaches right now. I'm actually in the process of adding a 3rd coach. And so one of the things that coaching really does is it actually helps you to focus on whatever it is that you're actually looking to become an expert in. And one of the things that you said about all the major professions, let me even add to that. Every major champion has a coach. So they're not just individuals, because there are a lot of people that play golf. I play golf. I believe you play golf as well.
Yes.
But I don't have a golf coach. But Tiger
My
Woods
game
has
stinks too. I don't have one
right.
either.
Mine too. Exactly. But Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson, they got coaches. Okay,
Yes.
that's why they're at the top of their game. They wanted to master that. And so every team. So name me a team in the history of sports that has become a champion, let's say in the last 50 years, without a coach, and you can't find one.
There is
So
none.
coaching
There
is
is none.
absolutely essential to champions. Now, again, I used to play in the little rec league basketball team when I was a lot younger and a lot lighter, uh, but we didn't have a coach. We didn't have a coach, and so we just went out and we played. We did what we felt like doing. But the championship rec league teams, even they had a coach, and so coaching is really essential
Essential.
because it helps you focus.
Excellent, excellent. So tip number one for today is get a coach. If you don't have a coach, then you're suffering and you unnecessarily. And one of the things I know Amir personally, is that by him being coached, I think his production went up over 50%. Is that correct, Amir?
Absolutely. The
Yes.
production went up 50%. And let me share this as well. So, one of the things that I thought about was I wanted to increase my production and I wanted to have a financial impact. That was really at the end of the day what I wanted to do. And so I had to invest in my coach and coaching for myself. But what I realized is the return on that investment was more than just my production went up. So it changed the options that I had in other areas of my life, where I wanted to take my wife to dinner, where we wanted to vacation with our family, what gifts we wanted to buy, and those kind of things. So not only did it impact my production, but it also impacted other areas that are really, really important to me in my life. And so that investment paid off 100 times or 1,000 times simply because of the quality of life then changed for me after I made that small investment.
Excellent, excellent. So there it is. Get yourself a coach. You have to be trained. And if you're not being trained, chances are you'll be one of the statistics that says that real estate doesn't work and you go out and get a job. And let's continue sharpening our skills to build our craft. That leads me to the next question, Amir. A lot of agents I've been speaking with over the past few months, or actually this year since the pandemic has hit, has been really suffering in the area of low inventory. Especially the newer agents, their only skill set allows them to work with buyers, and they find it very difficult to make a living. So, Amir, being on the hot seat today, what would you say to the agent that's struggling right now, working with 4 and 5 buyers, have been driving around for months, writing numerous contracts just to have them rejected, and the agent and the buyer have a disagreement because the buyer think the agent is at fault, which sometimes it's not, and sometimes it is. I want you to address that. And then also, what would you share wisdom with that new agent that's working with the buyer in the area of educating their potential clients prior to going to work? Amir, could you answer that question for me if you like?
So there's a couple of things that are out there in that question that we really can unpack. I'll start with this one because you talked about kind of the agents that's actually working with buyers. Um, One of the things that we always talk about is you got to educate and know who your client is,
Yes.
and then understand how the client is actually built, and frankly, what the psychology makeup is of that client. So I've got a client right now that we're closing today, and she is on the disc. She's actually a real SC, and so we'll talk about the disc assessment every agent should have some form of this assessment as well, and a knowledge of it, because it really helps you. So I know that she is detail oriented, and so she wants to know she actually read the purchase contract, and she asked me on page 3, 8B number 2, what does that really mean? And so I know once I figured out that part of her personality, then it allowed me to really, really hone in on how she liked to see properties, what kind of properties we were going to see, how we were going to show them. And then really it helped me then educate her on how to make a successful offer. And I spoke her language. And so that's number one. Know who your client is. Because if your client is detail oriented and you're saying, hey, here's a nice property, think we ought to make an offer, sign here, sign here, sign here, then that's going to create conflict. It's going to create conflict. So know your client, number one.
Excellent.
And then number 2 is really understanding the market and then educating them on what it's going to take in the market to actually be successful. So my client had a limited budget. And so one of the things that we were talking about in the education process is, hey, you're approved for $450,000. But here's what we're going to do. You can't look at properties that are $450,000 because those properties are going to go for $470,000, $475,000. So in order to get you into a property, here's what we're going to do. And so I said, we're going to start shopping at 400, so that we could actually win some of these bids and bidding wars. And so the education piece, but I think so understanding, educating the client is number 2. But I think number 3, and I think this would probably be not in the perfect order, but this is probably the most important of the 3 things, is establish yourself as the expert.
Yes.
So now here's what you're gonna be up against. So you're gonna be up against Realtor.com, Redfin, Zillow. You're gonna be up against Facebook articles and ads, and you're gonna be up against TikTok articles, and you're gonna be up against Instagram.
Breaking news.
Breaking news and Instagram clips of agents telling you how to do it, and people telling you why you don't need an agent. So you're gonna have to establish yourself first and foremost as an expert in your field. And when you're able to do that, then that is something that you could lean back to and simply say, hey, again, in my years of experience, or in having experience in this market, what you're saying makes sense, but here's what's really a better way to do it. And so you lean on the fact that you've established yourself as an expert in the field. And those are the top 3 things that I tell people in working with buyers.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And that leads me to what you would. I just want to pull out some nuggets. What you spent. You said educate, and the key to it, guys, is to educate. You must be educated, meaning that you must study first, know your craft, and when they ask you about page 3, paragraph A, you know what that contract says and how to interpret it correctly for the client, because you're liable, you're the professional, and remember, agents, you're the most knowledgeable person in the room, because that person you're sitting in front of probably is a first-time home buyer. You may have sold 10, 20, or 30 homes. So you are the one that is expected to be educated. So therefore, hone in on your craft. Make sure you're educated, and then educate your potential client. Key to this working with buyers or sellers is to have a interview with your potential client and decide whether or not you will work with them before you go out to start to show homes. Because some buyers or sellers you may choose not to work with because the personalities doesn't match. Amir mentioned the DISC test, meaning that some clients you're better off referring to another person, because you know right off the bat that feeling on the inside that this is not going to work. But for fear of missing out, called FOMO, you go out and go work with them anyway, and the client is flighty, won't sign the buyer's representation agreement, won't commit to you as an agent, and you spend months and weeks and hundreds of dollars trying to win a client to end the sale with a commission and end up working for free. So what I would say to you, interview your client, be the expert in the room, know your craft, and these things will protect you and your commission as an agent. Thank you very much, Amir, for that. So this leads me to my next question. In this market of real estate, where the inventory is so tight, what do you do as an agent? You're doing everything you can. You calling, you running ads, you're doing things, and you got plenty of potential buyers, but no properties. What would you suggest to that agent that's struggling with the buyers, and what's the secret sauce, Amir, to help them out of that rut?
It's very interesting, and I probably have kind of a twofold answer on that, especially since we're talking to agents. Become a listing agent.
Become a
That's
listing
real.
agent.
You know what? And people say it's hard. How do we do it? But here's what I share with people: you're expending energy. You're looking up, and now in this age of COVID, so you've got to look up properties. Then you've got to send over the COVID form. Then you've got to make an appointment. Then you've got to confirm the appointment with your client, drive out. But you're doing that on every single house. So if your client wants to see 4 or 5 houses in a weekend, or 4 or 5 houses each time that you go out, this is all the time and energy that you've got to spend. Well, if you've got 2 or 3 clients that are buyers that you're working with, now you multiply those same 5 steps times 5 properties times 3 clients. So that is a tremendous expenditure of time, effort, and energy. And what I really say is to go after sellers, you'd have that same time and energy, but you're only doing it for one seller.
Yeah.
And then people are coming to you. And I know people go, well, yeah, but I can't get sellers. And I just share with people, again, when we talk about being an expert and becoming an expert in your craft, then the same time and energy that you're expending in doing those 5 steps times 5 properties for 3, 4, or 5 different buyers, you could actually become a listing agent and really master that part of the craft. So that's number one. Number two, if that's still not something that you're interested in, then what you've got to be able to do is you've got to be able to maximize, your time, energy, and the locations that you're looking for. We're here in Southern California, and there are a couple of areas that are very similar or close to each other. And so if I'm going to an area in the city of Riverside, I know that, 10 minutes, 15 minutes away is another city called Moreno Valley. And so if I'm going to maximize, I'm going to tell my client, again, as being the expert, if we're going to look in this particular area or this zip code, guess what we're going to do? We're going to expand 15 to 20 minutes away so that we can see all the properties that are in this adjacent or adjoining city as well. And that gives us a better opportunity as we're going out to view properties. And then something I said earlier is, you know what? We know that properties are being, going into bidding wars and almost like an auction. And so what we want to do is start, considerably below our maximum so that it gives us an opportunity to go higher in the negotiating process.
Awesome, Amir. That's very well put. And I want to say this to you. I want to tag on what you just spoke about in the area of becoming a listing agent. The average agent, and you out there, you listen to this broadcast, you probably are not perfected in the skill set or the maturity in your field to be a listing agent. So I would suggest to you is to join a team, to get with an experienced agent that's producing, that have the skill set. Get yourself a coach to teach you how to prospect. Because prospecting is not easy. It takes work, it takes diligence, and you must be able to accept the word no.
No. But
And
check
if
it out
you
though.
make no your
I'm sorry
friend,
right.
go ahead, Amir.
No, I was saying that when you talk about prospecting, on the buyer side, that's literally what we're doing. So I said there's like 5 steps just to be able to show a property. And what we're doing now, which is different in this market, is we're actually prospecting anyway. Hey, here's a property here. I got to contact the agent. I got to contact the buyer and get the COVID form signed. Then I've got to go back and contact the agent again, make sure the property's available. Then I got to set an appointment. So we're actually prospecting for properties and buyers at the same time.
And what's tag on that with it exactly. But in this case here, I would look at, I was speaking to the area of getting listings,
Mm-hmm.
and what I want to say is that to get listings, your skill set has to be intact. Get with an agent that knows how to attract listings, to teach and train you. That's a coach. And if you don't have a coach, get a coach. If you're looking for a coach, reach out to us. Amir and myself both, we coach agents to become successful. In fact, I will say that any event that you're looking to increase your income in the area of real estate, you want to work 20 hours to 25 hours a week and not 40 to 60 hours a week, then you should be in some type of training. If you're looking to be trained, I'll say this is what I would say, is that if you get with me in 90 days, I can train you, coach you, teach you, build you to an area where you will become the expert in the area of prospecting. Yes, prospecting, where you can average anywhere between 2 to 4 appointments a week, taking listings, working with sellers. And do you know that it takes an average of 10 to 20 hours from close to finish to actually work on a listing versus 40 to 60 hours to work with a buyer? Yeah, it's less expensive, it's more advantageous. But the thing I would say to you is that you must have someone assisting you, because a new agent don't have the words, don't have the right scripting, don't have the right process, nor the systems. So what I would like to do is offer you an opportunity to be coached, to build a system, to teach you how to market, teach you how to attract buyers and sellers, to become the dominant real estate agent in your area of coverage for your, we call it your territory. And that will work in any city, any state in the United States. Now,
Right.
if you're looking for someone to coach you, to help you, to teach you how to do real estate, I think you're looking at two experienced agents in front of you that have years of success of selling real estate that can help you win more deals. What if we can help you with one more transaction in the next 2 months? Would that make a difference? It probably would. What if we can help you make an extra $50,000 to $100,000 in the next 6 months? Would that make a difference? It probably would. So the risk would be minimal for you to reach out, check out how we can help you out. In fact, with the systems, the proven systems and tools that we use, would help you do more in the next 90 days in real estate than you could do on your own without the proper skills, training, or systems in place. My name is Kelvin Verrett. I'm a broker, 21 years. I'm a coach, trainer, and I believe that we could make a difference in your real estate career. This podcast is strictly for realtors by realtors. We speak to the pain of the agent of what's going on, and I believe that you too can succeed in this industry. Don't quit, don't give up, but change your tribes. If you're with the wrong team, change teams. If you're with the wrong company, change companies. But you need to be in a place where real estate works for you and you can get your time freedom back. My friend Amir, we're going to be wrapping up, so I want to give you an opportunity to tell them a little bit about your business, how to get in touch with you, how to reach out to you if you do want to know about your services, and we'll go ahead forward, and then I'll come on and I'll close this out totally. Okay?
Sure, no problem. Man, it's been a pleasure to be on this podcast today. Look forward to doing many more episodes, really being able to help people live the dream life. And I said that in whatever state that you're in, we're certainly in the state of California, but I echo this a lot, especially when I'm talking to agents or people that say, hey, how's the real estate industry? How's it being in the real estate industry? And I said, look, the state of California gave me a license. And they gave me a license to make as much money as I absolutely can dream of. There's no limits on how much I can make. There's no limit to how much I can work. There's no limit to how much I can network and to follow systems to really be able to create a lifestyle that not just for me but for my family, that my family appreciates, and that we're building generational wealth through this industry. And I'm excited to be able to give back a lot that I've learned to be able to help other people to live the life that you and I are experiencing and have experienced for some time.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So thank you, Amir, for that. And what I want to say is this here, is that we are here to make a difference in your career. We're here to help. If you are working with the wrong tribe, then change tribes. We're actually building a real estate company right now, and we're looking for strong agents that is willing to put in the work to reap the benefits, to have more time, more freedom, more money in the bank. If you're an agent that's out there that's looking for an opportunity to make a difference in your career, then I ask that you reach out to me or reach out to my friend Amir. We work together with business partners, and we will help you strategically place yourself in a position to dominate in real estate. That's right, dominate in real estate. You don't need to be struggling, and we got proven systems to help you generate leads to attract more sellers and more buyers. I'm a broker, coach, and speaker. If anything I can do to add value to you, whether you're working with my company or not, that we're building, I'm willing to help you out. We're realtors for realtors, and we thank you guys for everything, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you guys. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Here's my contact information.